everybody. My name is Blake, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Chronicle tip and trick. And what we're going to discuss today is something that we call real-time alerts and triggers. So in order for this function to function properly, I guess you could say, you do have to have the real-time module. Okay, so just keep that in mind for today's training. You do have to have real-time in order for this to work. But the purpose behind the real-time alerts and triggers, as you know, or at least you've probably heard, Chronicle also has something built in called Chronicle Heartbeat, and that will let you know anytime that there is a logging issue or a disk space issue, something to that effect, and it will send you a message in 3 different ways. It will send you a message as a desktop screen pop, it can send you an email, and it can even send you a text message. Well, the same applies to our real-time alerts and triggers. It will send you a desktop screen pop, an email, and even a text message to let you know anytime specific real-time thresholds have been hit. So if I'm not at my desk, or if I want to just be alerted regardless if I'm at my desk or not, I want to know when we hit specific maybe calls in queue or missed calls, talking durations, abandoned calls, whatever that might be, I can set this up to send me those alerts to let me know automatically. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss today. I want to show you how to set up this real-time alerts and triggers. And to do that, just one thing I do want to mention before we actually jump into Chronicle here is part of this function, obviously the desktop screen pop, in order for that to function correctly, I do have to have the Chronicle desktop downloaded and installed on my computer. Okay, so if I haven't done that yet, I would recommend going ahead to do that and making sure that that's up and going before I actually go ahead and create this real-time alerts and triggers. Okay, so again, that's going to be for the screen pop. If I'm just getting an email or a text message, I do not have to worry about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and sign in. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to do this. Now, we're going to be working here in our administration section, and we're going to go here directly where it says alerts and triggers. And we're going to pay attention down here to this last tab, real-time triggers. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to go ahead and select that, and it will pop up with this Create New. I'm going to go ahead and hit the ellipsis tool here. And if you've worked with real-time before, this is very similar to creating a wallboard. It's very simple to do. The first thing it's going to ask me to do is it's going to ask me to name this value. What is this so I can keep track of this? If I go to create another one, I know what I've already got created. So we're just going to call this one Test for today, or let's actually call it Appointment Queue. Okay, that's a better way to do it. Okay, so I've got my name in there. Now I need to assign my value. So I'm just going to come here where it says click to define, and I'm going to find queued calls here in this section. From here, I just answer my few questions. I can do since, last, or now. I'm going to say now. I want to know right now how many calls I have in queue. I'll go ahead and hit OK. For calculation, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that at count, and then for group/queue, I would just come in here and select the group that I want to be monitoring. So I'm just going to say the appointments group for right now. And then I'll hit OK and hit OK. So I've got that set up. Now what I need to do is I need to tell it once it has calls in queue, when I want it to send me this message. So I'm going to come here where it says trigger threshold, and I can do things like anytime that there's greater than, less than, equal to. Okay, so I have a lot of options there. I'm just going to go ahead and put greater than, something like 2 calls in queue. Excuse me. So from there now, once I get that set up, once I save this, it will send me a message when it hits more than 2 calls in queue. Okay, so that's what it's going to be looking at. That's what it's going to do. Okay, so now I need to assign how I want that message sent and to whom I'd like it sent. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with those desktop users. As I mentioned earlier, make sure that these users that you're assigning this to have that Chronicle desktop installed on their computer. Okay, so I would just go through here and we'll select a few people there. Those are the people I want to receive that message. That's great. Now, what I need to do is I need to tell it what that message is going to say when they get that screen pop. So I'm just going to say 2 calls in queue. Oh, if I can spell, there we go. Okay. From there, I'll hit OK. And now I can also even select the desktop alert level. I have 3 options. I can have it be normal, warning, and emergency. Normal will just be a white-gray color. Warning will be red, and emergency will kind of flash between red and white. Kind of something like this right here. Hopefully you can see this. So that will be kind of that emergency look. So it'll flash between red and white like that. Okay. Now I'll explain in just a second here why I would choose why I have these 3 different options. But for now, we'll go ahead and leave it at normal. And then on top of that, of course, again, I can add emails. If I want someone to receive an email when it hits that specific threshold, I can do that. I can add as many emails as I want. Just make sure that I separate each one with a comma. And I can also do text messages here. And the way that I do text messages is I find out what that user's phone service provider text message gateway might be. And I can just Google that. I can get onto Google and say, what is Verizon's text message gateway, or what is Sprint's text message gateway? And it will tell me. So it will tell me, I go through Verizon, so mine is my phone number, followed by @vtx.com. Okay, and so that means I will be able to receive both an email and a text message. Okay, so I'll just put all of those emails and those text message gateways here. Again, just remember to separate each one with a comma. Okay, then of course I'll put in the email subject. We'll just call this calls in queue, and we'll say, again, for email body, we're just going to say 2 calls in queue. Okay, so that way now I have this set up to send me the the desktop screen pop, text message, and the email. Okay, and I would just go ahead and hit OK, and that's how I do that. Now, coming back here really quick, I can create another trigger. Let's call this appointment queue again. Okay, and what I would do this time is, again, I would go through and set my queue. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. Select my group. Perfect. And then from there, this time around, what I'll do is I'll change this to say greater than something like 4. Okay. Then I would go through and set my desktop users, email addresses, and all that kind of stuff. But this time I'm going to switch this from normal to warning. So I can have a separate queue trigger that will go off once it hits 4 calls in queue. Okay. This time, however, it will be red because it's that warning. Okay. Anyway, that is how you set up the real-time triggers. Very simple to do. Doesn't take too much time at all, but it's very effective because it lets me know automatically if I have a real-time trigger or a real-time situation taking place that I want to be alerted to. Okay. For further questions or comments, you can always email us here at Xima. You can also visit our support site, which is just ximacare.ximasoftware.com, or you can call into our support staff, which is 1-888-944-9462 option 4. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.